Okay, Beyond the Gates fans, here we go. Episode 151. The original number of Pokemon. Man, good times. Sorry if I sound a bit winded. It's been a very busy day. I was outside for the past couple hours cutting the lawn. And I hope this is like the last time I have to cut for the year since the temps are dropping. The grass is turning brown. And there's about maybe half the backyard left to cut. And when my nephew gets home from school in about less than an hour, he's going to grab the other push more and we'll finish it up and we'll be done. But I just figured that I'm taking a quick break. I've been killing it outside. And I just want to get this up because Sisters comes on tonight on BET. And they drop some sneak peek photos. And we might get a clip. So this being the longest video I need to get done outside of Tyler Perry stuff, I figured let me go ahead and knock it out now. I'll try to have this uploaded later tonight. So, wow. 10 out of 10. I actually enjoyed this episode. I like that we are seeing another side. Well, we are seeing the true Hayley now. We definitely are. So, kind of picking up where we left off, Dani and Andre sit, and he mentions how he wants to stay married. She's relieved, and she doesn't know, well, she didn't know exactly which way he was leaning. Now, I was looking at the comments on my Tuesday review, and some people said, hey, Jeremy, when you talked about Dani going over to Bill's office with that key, and then they kissed, it was more like Dani was saying, her final farewell and letting Bill go, as opposed to, the open marriage thing, so she can leave the door open for Bill and whatnot. I looked at the scene again, and I see where y'all are coming from, and the scene does play that as Dani's goodbye. But how many times have we had Dani say, I'm done, I'm over Bill, but then next thing you know, she's right back under his spell. So, don't get me wrong. It was a great scene, but for me to sit up here and act like I truly believe that it was Dani's final thing with Bill, no, I don't buy it. Now, he mentions how, or Andre mentions how he talked to his Uncle Ted, or actually he went over to the hospital to talk to his Uncle Ted, but then bumped into Ashley and realized that whatever they had was over. And he asked if she wants to go back to Bill, which is interesting because didn't they see the baby? And he talked to Ted about how there's some sort of connection. I don't know. Maybe I'm mixed. I don't know. So yet again, Dani is questioning why you are questioning my commitment. And he mentions that Hayley was at Uptown earlier and thinks that you're still after your ex. And Dani's like, oh, she's just projecting. And then Andre's like, well, did you go to see Bill? Yes, with a birthday present from last year. Andre doesn't like this, and Bill is clearly under her skin. And he can see that, obviously, the hold that he has on Dani has not weakened. But Dani's like, look, I want our marriage to work. And he wants more space than just her closet. Well, not even just the closet, because if memory serves, he got a drawer. And when she was like, if you want closet space, you're barking up the wrong tree. And he mentions that I want space in your heart. So she does ask him to move in and assures him that Bill is in the past. He agrees to it, but he'll still keep his condo just in case. But part of me is like, does Dani actually want Andre to move in? Or is she asking him to move in to prove to him that, no, Bill and I, there's nothing there. You have nothing to worry about. I don't know. And not to mention, that's the second time you're not going to tell your husband about a kiss with your ex-husband. Speaking of which, Caroline stops by Bill's office to talk depositions, and they chat about Dani stopping by with the birthday gift. Caroline can't imagine his current wife being happy about it, and he suggests, yeah, let's keep it between us, even though he is unaware, his child bride was looking through the window as you and Dani were smooching. So they mention how shrewd Hayley is, and Caroline reminds her boss how much he loves his wife and how Dani has been trying to make his marriage all about her. And that's when she's like, look, wake up and don't let Hayley slip through your fingers. And he admits he needed to hear that. Bill, poor, foolish, buffoon Bill. And he mentions how he knew Dani, how he needed her the day he saw her, and knew he was in trouble when he saw Hayley. So basically, I guess he was self-aware, but just because you're self-aware, if you don't act upon those feelings to stop yourself from doing something stupid, then it kind of doesn't matter. It's kind of like Spider-Man with his spider sense. If he doesn't listen to it, he's going to get knocked out. So it's like, okay, just because you felt something coming and you don't react to it, I mean, it's up to you. But with Bill, you just threw away a good thing. So Caroline urges him to decide who he wants to be with, and he thinks about it. Now, speaking of his wife, we get to see the real Hayley, and I mean real as in terms of her persona, over at the casino with Randy, and tells him about knocking the legs out from under Bill. And he's still treating her like a trophy, but she's really onto him. But I mean, is Bill nothing more than a mark to you? She mentions how I never loved him. The whole marriage is a hustle, but Dani is weaseling her way back, and if they get close, they're going to get back together. But what we need to do is expedite our plan to take him out and get him for everything he's got. So Hayley thinks she deserves a medal for sleeping with Billy Goat. Yeah, I'm inserting Billy Goat. I know Leslie isn't here, but Hayley seemingly has more personas than her. Nah, never mind. I'm overselling Hayley. So they recall the other men they've conned. So Bill is not the first. She is simply marries these men, drains their accounts, and disappears. And she never expected these Fairmount Crust. I don't know why I said crust, because the way she was describing Bill, old and crusty, I don't know. Fairmount Crest people to be so insufferable, and wishes she targeted Joey instead. You got a death wish? So Hayley thought Dani was just a runway relic, but it turns out she's more like a cockroach that won't go away. And she's worked hard for her money, and they need to get it before Dani decides she wants Bill back. So Randy's like, don't doubt the plan. So they'll rehash how Bill has been bitten by the baby bug, and she already faked the pregnancy twice. They got him making deposits into that college fund. That explains a lot. I like how we're really diving deep. So Dani has been whispering in her ex's ear to undermine this in regards to whether or not she's been pregnant. And she only managed to stop the sabotage by the miscarriage. Remember at Uptown? And we have a freaking flashback. So Randy actually got her a bucket of blood to make the scam appear real. And he mentions that being Joey's right hand comes with perks. So he brought the blood into Uptown into the bathroom, and he posed as a good Samaritan to drive her to the hospital. So the baby went bye-bye, Bill was none the wiser, and everyone else felt guilty. Now, at this point, they have to focus on her disappearing act. So they look through some fake IDs, and she announces Bill deserves something special for his birthday. So, despite the sex with Bill actually being good, she still wants her payout, and Randy thinks that, well, we'll just have to expedite things. So Hayley has more in mind than just draining him. She's like, Bill has to die. And I'm like, are you crazy? So Randy's like, yeah, because we don't be doing all that. And she's like, look, he has a $10 million life insurance policy with me as the beneficiary. And I'm exhausted with hustling all these men. So this is going to be my best and my last grift. So they need to, figure out how to get this done. We can't botch it. We need to make it look natural. Sheesh, turns out that stroke has done more harm than good. Now, she mentions poison, and I'm thinking, dang. Talk about the evil queen from Snow White, except she's a better actor than Gal Gadot. So Randy's like, I can make it happen. So she assures him he'll get his cut, and she'll get out of the country. So as soon as Hayley leaves, that's when Randy makes the call. Poison! Poison! Put poison! Okay. Hayley goes home to her old man husband. It's funny because, we talk about her being the child bride, yet Bill is the old man. Man, oh man. So Bill is there, and Hayley's like, she feels terrible about that fight, and can you forgive me? And he mentions how he does, and tells her Caroline gave him a wake-up call, and I meant every single word of our vows till death do us part. That's what she says, and I'm like, Bill. All right, so Kat stops by the hospital with a purse for her mom, and yeah, this is cool. Sometimes I forget Nicole is back at work now. She mentions that she and Tomas are back together, and I was furious before, but realized that love is complicated, and then starts venting about Eva. And once she's done venting, she mentions how she and Tomas have something that's real. So that's when Nicole offers to reserve her judgment. Really? Weren't you the one that was talking? Okay. So Kat mentions how she thinks she should give, her husband another chance, but Nicole doesn't think their situations are comparable. So you have a lot of advice to dish out to your daughter about her man cheating and how you should make it work, but your husband of decades length cheated decades ago. She can dish it out, but she can't take it. And Kat says exactly what I just said. Kat mentions how what dad did was decades ago and he's been desperate to redeem himself, but Nicole refuses to discuss it. And after some badgering, that's when Nicole admits Ted slept with Leslie again, and Kat is like, wait, what? Mama, no, why? So she mentions how Leslie is thirstier than a buzzard. What the man, that's when they go back and forth about it, venting, and that's when Kat decides to go confront, her dad. So lo and behold, Leslie pops up at Ted's office in her old waitress uniform and says, I got some special pie that will melt in your mouth. So essentially she's recreating their encounters when they were having the affair. And she's putting this on. Obviously, it's like, oh, so you still got a thing for waitresses, huh? Well, that sea urchin over at the diner ain't got nothing on this. And he tells her that, yeah, it's a bit premature for Halloween. I love it because it's October. And she mentions how my devil doesn't know how to wait. And so she's, I saw you cozying up to that human dumpster fire at the diner. And he tries showing her the door, but she keeps trying to tempt him. So that's when Ted tries to back off, but she puts him on the desk right as Kat walks in. So Leslie's like, oh, I was just giving your daddy the daily special. But Ted is like, if you don't get out of here. So Leslie mentions that I'll come back. Well, actually, no. I'll see you back at the hotel to finish his role-playing session with chocolate sauce. And after she's gone, Ted tries to explain nothing happened. And Mom told me you slept with that whore. And now I catch you in some OnlyFans roleplay scene. Oh my God. You know what? Maybe it's because I'm exhausted from all the work I've been doing outside, but I got some great laughs. I got some good laughs. So I thought you were better than this, Dad. So that's when Leslie runs into Nicole outside by the elevators and asks if she's going down. And she mentions how, Ted really wore me out. So, of course, Leslie is going to show her whole behind at this hospital. Folks, this was a good episode. We are setting things up, and I look forward to see what's next. But, dang, I'm 13 minutes. I'm looking through my notes again. I think that's it. Man, okay. Yeah, like I said, if I do shorter reviews, it's like, well, the episode didn't give me much, but I think I covered everything pretty thoroughly. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later.